There's never a quiet moment. Your phone never stops ringing. Not because you're famous, because the people calling you are. Oscar winners, pop stars, directors, people the entire world dreams of meeting. To them, you're more valuable than their agent, more reliable than their manager, sometimes more important than their own family. You know where the parties are before the invitations go out. You know which mansion everyone is secretly heading to after the premiere. You know who just won an award, and who desperately needs to forget they didn't. Every night makes you richer. Every delivery makes you more powerful. You think you found the easiest way to become untouchable. You haven't. Because every dollar you earn comes with a price neither you nor your clients can see yet. It starts with one contact. A studio assistant slips you a number, whispers a name, tells you to delete the text after you read it. A rising actor needs something for opening night nerves. You show up at a back entrance nobody uses, the kind with no cameras, and a code you have to text in advance. No names, no questions, just a handoff and a nod. He hands you cash before you even finish talking. More cash than your old paycheck for a month, folded into an envelope like it's nothing. You realize something that night, sitting in your car outside the studio gate. In this town, discretion is worth more than product. Word moves fast in rooms with no windows. By the next week, your phone has a new contact every day. A director, a comedian, a model turned producer. None of them save your number under your real name. You're not a dealer anymore. You're a service. You start learning the rhythms of this world the way you once learned a textbook. Award season means everyone is either celebrating or drowning. Premiere nights mean 3 deliveries before midnight, and none of them can be late. You buy a second car just for these runs. Something forgettable, something valet parking won't remember. Then you get the call that changes everything. A top Hollywood actress wants to meet you personally. Not through an assistant, not through a driver, herself. She sends a car for you. A black SUV with tinted windows so dark you can't see your own reflection in them. The driver doesn't speak the entire ride up into the hills. You pull up to a mansion with a driveway longer than the block you grew up on. Gates already open like they knew you were coming. Security waves you through like you're expected royalty. Valets in white gloves park cars worth more than houses, lined up in rows like a private auto show. Inside, the party looks like a magazine cover come alive. Champagne towers taller than you are. A DJ nobody can name spinning from a booth made of glass. Ice sculptures melting slowly into trays of things you couldn't afford to look at twice a year ago. Everyone beautiful, everyone watching everyone else, nobody quite looking at anyone directly. A butler offers you a drink you don't remember ordering. She finds you by the pool, red dress, high heels, a smile that's clearly practiced and still works. You brought it? She asks, stepping closer than she needs to. Her fingers brush your jacket like she's checking a heartbeat. You've never felt this powerful and this small at the same time. She takes what she came for. She doesn't leave right away. She leads you past the pool, past a hallway of framed magazine covers with her own face on half of them, into a private room with a view of the entire city glittering below like scattered glass. For a moment, you're not the help. You're the only real thing in a room full of performances. She whispers her direct line into your ear herself. Nobody else gets that number, she says. You drive home that night, feeling like you've been led into something the rest of the world only watches from outside a velvet rope. Word about you becomes currency of its own. You become the guy, not a name, a title. Your phone rings during daytime, during dinner, during sleep. Bigger actors call. Award-winning directors call. A musician on the edge of a world tour calls. His manager begging you to be discreet because insurance is watching every move before the tour starts. Every delivery happens somewhere more insane than the last. A private screening room after midnight. The credits still rolling on a film that hasn't been released yet. A rooftop penthouse with the city glittering below like it belongs to you. The back lot of a studio, empty and silent past 2 a.m. Security guards who look the other way because you tip better than the union does. You get invited to an after party following an awards show, the kind that doesn't have any guest list. held in a hotel suite that costs more per night than your first apartment cost per year. Trophies sit forgotten on a table next to bottles nobody's tracking the price of. A famous face you've seen on billboards your whole life laughs at something you said, actually laughs, like you belong in the room and not just at its edges. You start carrying 2 phones, one for the world, one for them. You learn to read a room before you even park the car, to know who's watching, who's high already, who just wants company more than product. Your bank account stops making sense to you. You buy a car you never wanted, just because you can. You buy a watch an actor recommended, and you wear it to meetings like a badge that says you belong here now. You think you've reached the top. In reality, you're standing at the edge of the fall. The actress starts calling more. Not for parties anymore. Now she calls because she can't sleep, because she can't eat, because for a few hours, she wants to feel like the woman the world still thinks she is. One actor stops asking for a good time. He starts asking for the stuff so he can function at all, so he can remember his lines, so he can walk onto a set without his hands shaking. You tell yourself it's not your problem. You just deliver. You don't decide what they do with it. But some nights, driving home, that excuse feels thinner than it used to. Then, someone you've supplied for years disappears from public life. No red carpets, no interviews, no explanation, just gone, like a rumor nobody wants to confirm out loud. 2 weeks later, the truth leaks out anyway. Rehab. A quiet one, the kind with a gate and no cameras, and a name that costs 6 figures a month. A studio pulls him from a film 3 weeks before shooting, quietly replaces him, never mentions why in the press release. His publicist stops returning calls, including yours. Then another client overdoses in a hotel bathroom. It doesn't make headlines. Studios are good at silence, better than you ever were. But you hear about it before the ambulance even leaves, from someone who is in the room and needs you to know you're not the only one scared now. You start losing people the way other people lose contacts. A director stops picking up. A friend you made in this business. Someone who understood the life, who used to laugh with you about all of it, just vanishes. Nobody explains. Nobody has to. You stop sleeping the way you used to. Every ringtone feels like a verdict instead of a call. You check your rearview mirror on streets you've driven 100 times. You start parking 2 blocks from your own apartment out of habit you can't explain. You realize something that keeps you up at 4 a.m., staring at a ceiling you paid too much for. Nobody in this town actually likes you. They only need you. The worst part isn't watching them destroy themselves. It's realizing you're next. A lawyer calls, not a client, a stranger's lawyer. He doesn't threaten you directly. He doesn't have to. He just mentions a name, a hotel, a date, and lets the silence do the rest. You understand exactly what he's telling you to forget. You start hearing about investigations. Quiet ones, careful ones. Detectives who ask questions at parties like they're guests. Sipping drinks, laughing at jokes, taking notes nobody sees them take. You stop going to the mansions. You stop answering unknown numbers. You delete contacts you used to be proud of having. The money that used to feel like power now feels like evidence sitting in an account with your name on it. You sit alone in a penthouse you can't quite remember choosing. The view is worth millions. It means nothing to you now. Then one night, a car you don't recognize parks across the street and doesn't leave. It's still there in the morning. You see 2 men in plain clothes talking to your building's doorman, showing him something on a phone. You don't need anyone to tell you what this is. You've spent years reading rooms, reading faces, knowing exactly when something's about to break. You know this feeling. You've watched it happen to everyone around you. You just never thought you'd recognize it on yourself. You sit by the window and you understand, quietly, completely, that it's over. Not maybe, not someday, now. Whatever you built, whatever you thought you were, it ends the moment you open that door. You think about the assistant who slipped you that first number. Wonder if he even remembers your face. You think about the actress by the pool. Wonder if she ever thinks about you at all, or if you were just another thing she used and forgot. At first, you thought you were selling a good time. Then, you realized you were selling borrowed happiness. Every dollar in your bank account came from someone's worst day. Their careers disappeared. Their families disappeared. Eventually, so did yours. Hollywood forgot their names. It forgot yours too. You didn't build an empire. You simply watched two lives fall apart at the same time. Then comes the knock you've been expecting. You don't need to ask who's there. Thank you for watching Vinta.